and support over the years. Barton was one of the earliest to hear the music of what HEAF is doing. Our goal is to change lives. Our goal is to deal with the children of the public schools of Central Harlem. More of that later. Today, Harlem, tomorrow, the world. We are ready for that. More of that later. He's heard the music of a program whose goal is to deal with bright young children whose self-confidence we help develop, whose high aspirations we encourage, whose sense of future-mindedness we instill so that they don't just cram to pass a test, don't just try to get into a school. We're speaking of children who think of the lives they're going to lead. HEAF's goal is to turn out rounded, full individuals who will lead lives that are satisfying and productive and fulfilling, being a credit and a pride to themselves, their families, and the society. And this is something that our society today is forgetting. That if in some inner city location, some inner city slum, or in some Ozark or Appalachian backwater, if there's some potential Leonardo da Vinci or Madame Curie, sure we're not sexist, or Isaac Newton, that goes undiscovered, unacknowledged, unsupported, the society loses. What HEAF is doing is not just good for the individual child, it's good for the society. We are finding those people whose productivity is going to benefit the whole society as well as themselves and their family. So we're profoundly grateful to a good guy. He's on the short list of the really good people in our society. He was one of the earliest to hear the music. We are now at a stage when we know what to do, we know how to do it, we have done it and are doing it. Our goal now, the next step, is to expand to the optimum, not maximum, but optimum size, and then to replicate. HEAF regards everyone else in the whole educational enterprise as colleagues, not competitors. Say not competitors, because modestly we think that no one does it as well. But we won't dwell on that. Always put in, the HEAF people always try to speak modestly. We figure, the Romans had an expression, res ipsit loquitur, the thing speaks for itself, and our record speaks for itself. But we are ready, and if you think of the rockets at Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy, you go down there and they're sending a shot to the moon, they're planning to walk on Mars. The first stage of the rocket is a big, thick, heavy thing whose goal is just to get the payload out over the treetops. That's the big, heavy lifting. The second stage, which takes the payload out of the atmosphere, is much smaller. The rocket stage that goes to the moon is really tiny. HEAF has done the heavy lifting. We're over the treetops. And this formidable young woman, this formidable creature who's destined to become one of the great figures in American supplementary secondary education, Ruth has it within her to bring HEAF to the next stage of the rocket, where we're going to be replicated, where others who are our colleagues, are going to benefit from those lessons that we learned. Not just how to cram, not just how to learn facts, but how to develop a future-mindedness and plan for the future with high aspirations based on the self-confidence of what they've achieved and the knowledge of the hard work and disciplined effort it's going to take, that they will go on to achieve great things. So I'm profoundly grateful once again to Barton for having given us all a chance to come together to celebrate this wonderful woman whose future is ahead of us. She represents the future of HEAF, and I like to think the future of American education, which is going to get away from test cramming and think of high aspirations, creative, innovative thinking that involves not just number crunching for STEM, not just memory of poetry, but trains and encourages the entire human being. And this woman is going to lead the way. So we're grateful to Barton for his encouragement. We're grateful in advance. We're grateful in advance to this young woman who's going to propel us to the next stage of the rocket. Thank you all so very much for coming. I thank you in advance for your support for this good woman and her efforts. Thank you.